Hi, welcome back, and for today's review, we'll be looking at the Roomba i6 Plus, one of iRobot's options in their i-series line with a self-emptying feature. The i-series is one of iRobot's premium end options along with the S-series. All these robots have imprint smart mapping or the ability to save maps. There's only one i6 option available, which is the Plus version with a self-emptying feature, and I've spent the past few days testing it to see the pros and cons and some quirks you may need to know. So let's get started. The i6 retains the same round frame as the i7, with the same button layout and top-mounted camera, but with a lighter gray finish. Unlike earlier Roomba versions, these buttons have a more premium finish with a touchscreen-like feel. However, I doubt you'll use these buttons as much as the i6 is compatible with the iRobot app that unlocks all the features I'll share later on in this video. The Roomba i6 Plus has similar features to the i7, with the same iAdapt 3.0 navigation or the so-called imprint smart mapping that can save up to 10 map levels. Besides navigating in straight lines, it unlocks advanced navigational features like keep out zones, clean zones, and selective room cleaning. Keep out zones is similar to the no-go zones feature of Roborock that block the robot from going into square or rectangular spaces you set on the map. The clean zone feature does the opposite and works like the spot cleaning function in earlier Roomba models, but it's more precise as it lets users pinpoint an area in the map they want to clean. I like that the iRobot app allows users to save it, so you don't have to manually set these on the map every time, allowing easier access for future use. Selective room cleaning lets users choose a specific room to clean. You do this by tapping on a new job icon on the upper right, then check all the rooms you want clean. There's also an option to set it as a favorite, which provides quicker access in the main interface. Unfortunately, the iRobot app doesn't have an invisible wall feature that other brands like Roborock have, so you're limited to using squares or boxes as containment. There's no option to put diagonal lines, which limits the flexibility. One quirk with Roomba is its reliance on a light source when creating the map, which isn't surprising since it uses a top-mounted camera. You'll have to turn on the lights and use the mapping run. It won't complete the process in dark conditions, and the other features like selective room cleaning will not work, so keep this in mind. Navigation is much more efficient than any entry-level Roomba, and it didn't have any issues going through cramped spaces. The i6 didn't get wedged or stuck through this maze, and it was able to go through it. Obstacle avoidance is decent as it slowed down if it detects an obstacle. The front bumper do have some blind spots and may brush into objects, but gently. Coverage is also decent, picking up most of the quicker roads I dispersed around this room. However, I noticed the side brush scattering some of the debris around, which is an issue with most Roombas I've tested so far. The feature I'm most fascinated with is the clean base station. I've read reviews about it being the best, so I did some tests to see how effective it is at picking up debris from the robot's dustbin. I tried it on this mess on carpet, and this was how much it picked up. Then I let the clean base station do its thing. And it picked up most of it. However, it left debris on the lip. But chances are you won't be cleaning messes like these, so it shouldn't be a big concern. While Roomba can detect if the bin is full, it doesn't go back to the clean base station to empty. It just stops and flashes an error message through the app. So you'll have to empty it manually to proceed further. Inside is a bag that automatically seals itself as you pull it out, so there's no direct exposure to allergens and dust. It's large enough to carry up to 30 binfuls, so this means you won't be touching the robot weeks at a time. Please note that the clean base station doesn't have a sensor informing users if it's full, so do your due diligence to visually check at least every 2 weeks. The i6 Plus has the same dustbin as the entry-level E5, but with a slot right here where the clean base station uses to empty its contents. There's a noticeable notch inside the dustbin that reduces the capacity from 500 milliliters to around 400 milliliters, but it shouldn't matter much with the auto-empty feature. Next, we'll look at power, where I use an anemometer to measure airflow. Unfortunately, the i6 Plus doesn't have much with only 8.2 CFM, close to the figures of the Roomba 960. Despite the low airflow result, it still cleans decently. However, it won't be as good as Roombas with higher airflow like the Roomba 980 that made cleaner passes. The newer i6 extractors that have deeper grooves make up for the lack of airflow with better agitation. It picked up 98.26% of sand on hard floors, which is a decent score, but it left fragments of it on the roller and assembly. This means that it will struggle with heavier debris like sand and pet litter. Another issue worth noting is the fast spinning side brush. I mentioned this earlier during the coverage test. It's also an issue in the cleaning test, especially with debris like Quaker oats and quinoa, where it scattered it to a broader zone. It's not much of an issue for cleaning stuff like dust, but it's worth mentioning. On carpet, the results are more or less similar. The scattering issue isn't as bad on this surface since fibers provide friction and the throw isn't as wide. Surprisingly, it was still decent in deep cleaning tests, picking up 82.5% despite the low airflow, the lowest score of all Roomba robots I've tested so far. It was quite good in the edge cleaning test for a round-shaped robot, picking up most of the debris in this area. The new extractors also did well in the hair wrap test, especially with the 5-inch strands, as it picked up 100%. But it didn't do as well with the 7-inch strands, picking up only 54%. It's still a notch above the Roomba 960 I tested previously that did very poorly on both tests. One benefit of having low airflow is the low noise levels. I used a sound meter to test and it only produced 64.5 decibels in its single power setting. The Roomba i6 Plus is compatible with the iRobot Home app. With Imprint Smart Mapping, users will have access to more customization features. For instance, in the Scheduling tab, users can select the area they want to clean, either rooms or zones. Furthermore, the iRobot app allows multiple runs per day, which was not possible even with the 900 series robots. Users can also save up to 10 maps, which is 6 more than any Roborock S series option. Within these maps, you can manually divide areas, set keep-out zones and clean zones, depending on your need. The app will automatically divide areas after the mapping run, but it won't be as precise, so this option provides more control to users. Unfortunately, the i6 app doesn't have any live maps, so users can't monitor the robot's exact location on a real-time basis. It only shows a graphic of the robot. Users can also adjust the settings of the robot, like cleaning passes and bin full behavior. Lastly, there's a history tab where you can see a summary of all the previous runs and the corresponding maps. The i6 app provides more customization features than the Roomba 900 series thanks to Imprint Smart Mapping, making this robot even more hands-free. Overall, I'm impressed by the auto-empty technology of the Roomba i6 Plus. It takes away one menial task, which is emptying the dustbin. Yes, it is pricey, but it could be worth it for busy folks who need a hands-free device that can vacuum their homes without much intervention. Once you've saved and named all the rooms, the robot does the rest and vacuums on schedule, cleaning and emptying dustbin contents after each run. Of course, users will have to do their part and remove any wires or obstacles that get in the way. It's not as powerful as other Roomba products like the 980 and S9, but it's decent enough for daily cleaning tasks. This variant is an excellent option if the Roomba S9 is too expensive. If you have any questions about this robot vacuum, please leave them in the comment section below and I'll answer them ASAP. Hit the thumbs up if this video has been helpful to you. Subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified for future reviews like this. Links are in the description for more information. Thanks again for watching and I'll see you in the next video.